One method that just never dies, the campfire method. The campfire method is a myth that runs rampant around the New Horizons community, stating that when villager hunting, if you turn off the campfire at a Nook Mile island, the villager will not show up again during your hunt. Seems like a pretty good mechanic, right? Villager hunting takes forever. Between earning the Nook Miles, printing out the tickets, talking to Orville, and waiting for loading screens, it can be a pain. Wouldn't it be nice of the developers to make our villager hunting activities a little bit easier? Introducing the campfire method. Once you're on an island with a villager that you don't want to come to your island, all you have to do is turn off their campsite, and they won't show up on a mystery island again. So easy, even Timmy and Tommy can do it. If only it was true. Before I get too deep into the campfire method, oh yes, it's time, I want to take a second to talk about my dinner method with today's sponsor, HelloFresh. I don't know what I would do without HelloFresh. Dinner is a no-brainer with these pre-portioned ingredients that get delivered right to me. With HelloFresh, there's no running to the store for a big bottle of that one ingredient like running to a Nook Mile island. It gets annoying. It's all right there for you. Those pre-portioned ingredients cut down on food waste by 23% compared to grocery shopping, which saves me a ton of money and saves me the task of going through my pantry and throwing out mostly full bottle of spices that I used for a dish that one time and I'll never use again. With HelloFresh's huge menu, Drew and I always have plenty of delicious options to pick from while still changing up our choices each week. I'm someone who can't just eat the same food every day, well, except for ramen for some reason, but HelloFresh's constantly changing menu allows me to never get bored with dinner time. With so many options, there's something for everyone and their lifestyles. And HelloFresh isn't just for dinner. They also offer easy lunches, snacks, and seasonal food for seasonal celebrations and holidays. I'll usually throw in a dessert from the marketplace if I'm feeling extra sweet-toothy that week. There's always a nice variety of marketplace items to satisfy whatever craving you have that week to really minimize the need to go grocery shopping, which is a win in my book. Use my link or go to HelloFresh.com and use code POGKORA AUG50 for 50% off plus free shipping. Click the link in the description or scan the QR code with your phone to sign up. Now that we've figured out dinner, it's time to get back to the video. The campfire myth is probably my least favorite. Mostly because villager hunting is my passion. I have done a few villager hunts in my day. As a result, I've researched the crap out of the mechanic to see how everything works, so I could figure out some best practices when it comes to villager hunting. Naturally, I've come across this myth. Constantly. When you spend thousands of tickets trying to find one cute dreamy, you get a lot of chatters that just want to help. But the help I get the most often is telling me to turn off the campfire so the villager doesn't show up anymore. This myth is so widespread that I started to believe it after a while. With this many people saying the same thing, it has to have some merit behind it. As of the posting of this video, we have used 18,762 Nook Mile tickets for villager hunting streams. And that's not even all the mystery islands I've been to, but it is the ones that we have data on. However, I've never done a proper test on the campfire method. I've played around with it on stream a few times to try to prove in real time if the myth is indeed true. But I figured now would be a good time as any to do an actual scientific study on the campfire method, because I'm definitely totally a licensed scientist. Scientists are licensed, right? Degreed? They're at least degreed. They have degrees. So I kicked out one of my autofilled villagers on my main island and started villager hunting. I made sure to shut off every campfire on each island while also taking note of which villager I found along the way. That way I wouldn't forget if I had found a villager already or not, because that would definitely happen. Thanks to data mines, we have information on how villager hunting works. Get ready for some math, because I'm gonna teach you. Alright, you've got your Nook Mile tickets. You're talking to Orville, and you're ready to go find a dreamy. You're ready to hop on that first island, hoping for a good villager. During that super long plane loading screen, the game is doing a bunch of math. There are 35 species of villagers in New Horizons. I'm talking dogs, cats, birds, eagles, you know them. When you go to an island, the game first rolls to see which species will appear on that island, which means your chance of finding a specific species is 1 in 35. The game then rolls for one of the villagers in that species. Each species of villager has a different number of villagers tied to them. The cat species has 23 different villagers. To pick which one of these cats will show up after the game rolls for the cat, the game will roll for one of the 23 cats. Now it's time to go back to math class. To calculate the chances of a specific villager appearing, you have to multiply the two fractions together. So, for cats, 1 in 35 times 1 in 23 is a 1 in 805 chance of a specific cat appearing on a mystery island. We can do the same for the rest of the species to figure out their chances of being found, which I've already done for you. There's a Google Doc in the description if you're curious. A 1 in 805 chance is a very small chance. It's about a 0.12% chance of finding a cat. But according to the math, this is the hardest specific villager to find. Let me reiterate here, because it can get confusing. Finding a cat isn't hard. It's the same chance of finding every other species because the game rolls for the species first. So every type has a 2.86% chance of showing up. This is only a problem when you're looking for a certain cat, like Raymond, or maybe you're looking for only Lolly. Because there are so many cats the game could potentially pick, the odds are that you probably won't find that specific cat you're looking for, or at least it'll take a long time. Now let's look at the octopus species. There are only 4 octopus villagers in this game. So the game will roll a 1 in 35 chance for the type of species, and then it only has to roll a 1 in 4 chance for you to find a specific octopus. Way better odds than finding Raymond or trying to find Lolly. Get ready for more math. 1 in 35 times 1 in 4 gets you a 1 in 140 chance of finding a specific octopus, or a 0.7% chance, which is about 6 times more likely than finding a particular cat. That means you're going to find Marina way more often than Raymond during your hunts. The over 18,000 tickets we've used for villager hunts verify this data. Most, if not all, of the octopuses are usually in the top 10 most frequently found villagers during my hunts. In fact, Marina has come out on top many times, and it's not because you'll find octopuses more often. Whenever I do these hunts, I tend to find the different species pretty equally. There isn't one species that appears far more often than the rest. There are very few outliers in the data. Anyway, the tens of thousands of tickets that we've used on the channel shows that the data mines are indeed correct. We know how the game decides which villagers you'll find on a mystery island, and it has nothing to do with turning off the campfire. But I wanted to test it anyway, because whenever I say this, the answer I get back is, oh well, it's just a better chance you won't find them again. You're not guaranteed to not find them again with the campfire method. So I wanted to see if there was a better chance. Prove once and for all if the campfire method actually worked. So I grabbed a bunch of tickets and got hunting. When I do normal villager hunts without turning off campfires, it tends to take me anywhere from 50 to 100 tickets to find my first duplicate villager. That only takes a couple hours. I can knock that out quickly. As I'm hopping on and off islands, I'm looking for the villager, taking note of who I find, turning off their campfire, and running to the next island. I found a good mix of villagers. Dizzy, Marina, Nana, O'Hare, Lyman. I wasn't even finding a lot of repeat species. For the most part, we were quickly knocking out villagers. I was not shocked to see Marina on my 3rd ticket. Octopuses usually show up pretty quickly, especially Marina for some reason for me. Apparently this game thinks I like the color pink. I'm expecting this duplicate hunt to take maybe 2 hours. So I got myself comfy. I'm in it for the long haul. Island 12, new villager. Island 13, new villager. Island 14, Marina. There it is, the first duplicate villager. It took me 20 minutes. It took longer to kick Ed off my island than it took me to find a duplicate with the campfire method. This hunt, and all 18,000 plus data points that I have on villager hunting, completely proves that the campfire method is just a myth. There is no factual evidence behind it. Even if the method reduced the chances of finding the villager, it definitely didn't just work for Marina. I found her faster than ever. I wanted this myth to be true. I want to not spend 3,000 tickets trying to find my dreamie. Unfortunately, that's just not how it works. And before you say I found her quickly because I have every other octopus on my island, no I don't. For those who don't know, the villagers on your island cannot show up on mystery islands since you can't have 2 of the same villager on your island. Villagers in your move-in queue also cannot appear on mystery islands, but I just emptied my move-in queue, so that's not something I had to worry about either. Why do you think I had Ed on my island in the first place? I didn't pick him. I think this myth comes from the campsite in New Horizons. The campsite has a separate way of calculating which villager appears. There's a lot more math with this one. I have a whole video for it if you really want to get into it. But one of the factors it considers is if the villager has ever appeared in your campsite before. Any villager that appears here won't show up in the campsite again until the game has gone through the entire cast of villagers. If you have Raymond show up in the tent, he won't show up again until you've gone through every other available villager, which is how everyone thought the campfire method worked. There must have been some crossed wires here at some point because this isn't how Nook Mile ticket villager hunting works. I hope this proves to you that turning off the campfire doesn't matter. It won't help your hunt. You just have to rely on good old RNG. But it does still feel really good to turn it off on them. I probably won't stop doing that to the villagers I hate.